Greetings, friends. Good to be with you this Holy Thursday, sometimes a day we call Maundy Thursday. I have a little meditation I want to share with you today, and I'm going to begin as I read from the Gospel of John, chapter 13. Now, before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know what I am doing, but later you'll understand." Peter said to him, "You'll never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not only my feet, but my hands and my head." And Jesus said, "One who is bathed does not need to wash, except for his feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew that he was going to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed his feet, he put on his robe, and he had returned to the table. And he said to them, "Do you know what I've done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, for that's what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to also wash one another's feet. For I've set you an example, that you should also do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." When he had gone out, Jesus now said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once. Little children, I'm with you only a little longer. You will look for me. And as I said to the Jews, now I say to you, where I'm going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another." I love this text. It has a lot for us. It makes me think of goodbyes, honestly. We've had a real year of tough goodbyes, haven't we? I can tell you that it was 1 year ago. My last Sunday at my church was the Sunday after Easter. I was to go on a renewal leave, and we had the Sunday after Easter, and that was it. Now, this was the beginning of a pandemic, and so we hadn't figured out things like how would we say goodbyes. I went for church, we recorded worship, and then I went home. And that was it. That was not much of a goodbye. Many of us have had struggled with goodbyes this year. My goodbye was just one example, but too many in the past year have said goodbye via Zoom or FaceTime, separated from loved ones as this pandemic has ruled over our lives, unable to be at the bedside of a loved one that was sick or dying. Under normal circumstances, I don't know of anybody who really likes goodbyes, whether they're unexpected or whether they're well planned. Even the best farewell party is one that brings tears and sorrow. Jesus offers a word here in this goodbye for his disciples. It's sort of a a challenging one for me personally. What happens at this meal, and Simon Peter illustrates it, I think, perfectly for us. When Jesus says, okay, here's what's going to happen. He wraps a towel around his waist and fills a basin, and he says, I'm going to wash your feet. And Peter's mind is about blown. Wait a minute. What? No way. He comes around after a little conversation, but what really is happening here is that Jesus is offering these final words in this goodbye. It's not a goodbye that is just an empty sort of farewell. It's a let me leave you with something. And it's this love one another. Love one another. The day that we celebrate here is called Maundy Thursday. The word Maundy comes from that Latin word mandatum, which is for us a mandate. And so leaving us in this goodbye is this holy mandate to love one another. And Jesus doesn't just say it, he shows it. He says, let me show you. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it humbly and kindly and gently and lavishly and graciously for you in the form of washing another's and one another's feet. Not just saying it, but he shows it. Gail Sayers, in his book it's titled I Am Third, he recounts the story of his own struggle to get back into professional football after knee injury, and the very struggle of his dear friend Brian Piccolo, who was battling cancer. It's recounted in the movie Brian's Song that back in the 70s. But from that, Gail Sayers, the very title reflects Gail's own personal belief. I am third. That very title of the book, I am third. And for Gail Sayers, it was the Lord is first, my friends are second, and I am third. It's essentially what Jesus is saying, here in this goodbye is, listen, folks, love one another. Put others first. Put others before you. Love one another humbly, kindly, graciously, lavishly. By this, others will know you are my disciples.